Hi guys, Brent Maxwell here. I am the CEO of DEFY Labs, and I wanted to take you guys through a little bit of a journey that we've been on over the last few months. We've been deep down in game design, and I know it felt like things have been a bit quiet, but there's a reason. There's a very, very good reason, and it's because we basically took the philosophy of let's make sure that we can not do what happens too much in Web3 and just promise a whole bunch of stuff and then not deliver it. Our approach has been different. We wanted to make sure that we were confident in the design decisions that we were making about the game so that it is super cool and that we actually can do it and actually ship it in a realistic time frame. So because of what we've been doing with going kind of deep on that, it's just meant that we've got to the point where things are looking pretty peachy. So I wanted to share this stuff with you so that we can get your input and get a feel for what you guys think about all of this stuff. So I'm going to run you through a little update that I put together. And I ran this through internally a couple of weeks ago. And we kind of just agreed, hey, this is pretty much just stuff we should let the community know. So this is for you. I've made a few little tweaks, but I just wanted to give you an update. It's kind of like a checkpoint on where things are at. So first up, I wanted to just let you know a little bit of information about what we're kind of doing with the actual overall business in the future. And DEFY the game is a big part of our vision. It's the entirety of our current short to mid-term vision. We are looking at creating a really fun and rich experience for you guys. And the alpha has been a way of us getting a feel for kind of the basics of Web3 and what we can do with the location-based gameplay. But there is so much more that we want to do. We want to really blur the boundaries between the physical and virtual worlds. And we think that crypto's a really fucking cool way to do that. It helps you do things that weren't before possible. And it's not necessarily like a big world changer right now, but we think that it's going to be in the future, and we want to be part of bringing people on that journey and opening up on like what you actually can do with it. So like more immediately, what we're trying to do with the game is move a little bit away from just the play to earn. We still want players to be able to earn. We just don't necessarily think that the way that it currently works is ideal. We've watched very closely what's been happening with some of the other play to earn and move to earn projects. And there's this trend where people pay a shit ton of money for these NFTs. They start playing the game and earning heaps of crypto back. But then like as the player growth trends upwards, it has become apparent that all of the economics of that are not necessarily sustainable in our opinion. And so what we've been doing is spending a shit ton of time just trying to get really comfortable with what is a functioning economy in Web3? How does it look? And so what we kind of have come up with is a whole bunch of gameplay mechanics that we think any of them in isolation may not be totally clear on how it fits in, but if you bring the right set of incentive structures and gameplay mechanics together, we actually think that you can do some really, really, really cool things with in-game economies. Web3 is a lot harder than other games because in your classic game, when you're designing it, you've got a closed economy. Everything fits into the one place. An open economy like a Web3 game means that you're much more susceptible to market conditions. And trying to build a game that stabilizes despite some of that stuff is really hard. So we've designed something that we think will be a lot more reliable, a much more reliable way to both earn and that actually increases as the game grows rather than decreasing, which is what we've seen happening with a lot of the other earn projects. So the kind of direction that we're looking at things is we want you to be able to earn through much more gameplay than kind of what we currently have right now. We very much believe that creation and trading, a trading economy, is a big part of that, and that's going to create much more longevity than just paying crypto out. We see that as it's just a better way of earning, and it's much more sustainable, and it scales much better, basically. So we kind of look at the token as just like greasing the economic machine in Web3. So as our friend down the bottom there says, like, it's been really hard, but we think that we've got an economy that we've designed that works for everybody. Not just necessarily you people, the new players, but you over time, you know, the version of you in 2 years when you're still playing our game. And that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that you have a massively positive long-term journey with us as to how the economics of the game play out. And we just want it to be fun. One of the systems that we've come up with, and this is the first time that you guys are probably hearing about a lot of this stuff, is the idea of a Nanoforge system. So the Nanoforge is the primary mechanism that we're going to be using to kind of control the throughput of the economy. This is basically a 3D printer where you're going to be able to combine blueprint for a part with raw materials that we're going to provide you with through different means, but a lot of the stuff that you're going to be doing on the map-based gameplay is going to be acquiring these raw materials. They're all going to be NFTs, all tradable, and then essentially, like, you pay electricity costs in these 3D printers, and it's going to let you forge parts for your drones and other things as well. To give you a feel for kind of what this looks like, though, there's a couple of little sweet YouTube videos that I found to kind of capture the look and feel of what it looks like. What you're seeing in front of you is, we think, a futuristic looking tech. It's available now, it's been around for a while. It's called stereolithography, and it's a process that allows you to manufacture parts using this kind of liquid, and it just is super cool looking. So, you know, these exist at the moment, and what we're kind of picturing in the game is that all players will be able to get access to these 3D printers, and in the future we've got big plans for how that'll work. But the short version right now is that you can basically forge the parts that you want to affix to your drone in-game using these. And just like the way that they work at the moment, you can basically feed electricity into them, you know, pay the bills for the parts, and then pump out cool equipment on the tail end. So this equipment really is a fully fledged crafting system. And that's because originally when we were thinking about how we get all of these parts to you, the player, we kind of realized that it's just sort of boring to drop them on the map. Like, yeah, you know, scavenger hunt is cool. Like, everyone loves scavenger hunts, right? But it's just that we figured that there's a richer, deeper way for players to encounter the loot. And that, so what we've done is we've designed it so that you're going to be able to pick up all your raw materials out on the map and through different activities. And then when combined with blueprints and a Nanoforge, you're going to be able to actually build these parts yourself. So it'd be super fun. You can see down the bottom right there that we've also got a rough sketch of the loot table, what that would look like. We've got different rarities and different characteristics of those systems. And we're looking at how weight will play a role as well in the crafting system for the drones specifically. But crafting will be used for more than drones, but initially that's the kind of primary focus. What can you do with those features? Well, you can play the game with them. They're going to be functional, they're going to be fun, they're going to be like rich and immersive parts that add to the gameplay. But you can also trade them. So you can if you have a 3D printer and you can afford the DEFY and you can get the blueprint and the raw materials, then you can forge stuff that will be an NFT that you can sell on an in-game marketplace in the longer term. In the shorter term, we're probably going to have it as a separate web app that you can log into. But then you'll not only be able to sell raw materials or drone parts, you'll be able to buy entire drones. And we've sort of teased a few of the parts before, but you can kind of see here that you can collect stuff like an engine or a propeller or a chassis or a battery, and then bring them together to do something else really cool. And this is kind of the pinnacle of gameplay, is going to be your ability to assemble your own drone. So I've been using OpenAI for anyone that's seen DALL-E 2. It's pretty cool, and so I've just been playing with it a lot. So you can see all of this art's just AI generated. But you know, I was trying to capture that feel of how this will work, and we're going to equip you with a kind of like a little workshop, like a drone hangar, where you can have a workbench and put these parts together and assemble your drone that's going to have utility, be flyable, aroundable. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited for this. So the way that that'll work is we're basically going to give you a configurator. You can kind of see on the left here that you'll be able to pick a slot, pick a part like a category, and then pick whatever parts you've got available in your inventory to attach. So if you've got a whole bunch of different weapons, you'll be able to select and switch between the different weapons that you've got. And you can kind of see how it works here. You basically take that, slot it into a slot, and then you're going to be good. You can just craft your drone, and then it will be playable in game. So that brings me to what can you actually do with these things. Now, at the moment, you are basically just on foot. You're running around the map, and you're sometimes being hunted down by the hunter drones from future systems. But what we're going to do is equip you with the ability to pilot your own drones around on the map. In the longer term, you guys would have seen our AR gameplay. We're definitely going that direction, but and we've already got some of that built. But as far as just priorities in the team have gone, we've kind of been shuffling things around a bit as to what comes when. And we figured that all of this stuff that brings the gameplay around the drones and the economics of how that works, we figured is probably more important as the foundations of the game, because you know we're building for the future. So you can pilot your drone on the map view, and this is just awesome, right? Because instead of just going out on foot, you can just lie in bed in the morning when you wake up and send your drone out and hack the tower and go and collect wallets and stuff. It's going to be awesome because it means that you don't have to move out on foot. You can do it anytime from anywhere. So obviously, like, this is a move game and we want to keep that, but moving, we figure, should be something that lets you, it enhances your gameplay. It isn't a prerequisite for gameplay. And that's a big change that we've decided that we want to make. So yeah, what you can do is open up new gameplay techniques. So you can send a drone out in that direction, and then you can go and run off in that direction and collect twice the amount of wallets. So very cool gameplay that we're adding in the over the next few months. One of the different things that this opens up is the ability for all players to have their own basic little, what we're calling retrieval drones. So they're going to be really, really basic, and they're going to be things that you can send out to collect loot, but they're not going to have any of the functionality that the crafted drones are going to have. These are not crafted, these are just standalone items, kind of closer to like what your EMP is, for example. But yeah, it's going to be very basic, but it means that for brand new players, that from day one you're going to be able to do location-based gameplay, but without having to be on foot. So yeah, cool new direction that we're taking with that, I think. Another big part of what we're building is the ability to level up. This is a way that we want to make you feel like you're advancing through the game, and it's great. Leveling is awesome because it means that we've got the opportunity to take you on a journey through DEFY. So as you level up, we can enhance your gameplay, add more gameplay. It gives you a chance to get better at the game and sort of build your skills and build your comfort with the basic systems before we bring new systems in. So really excited about this one. We put a lot of thought into this, and we've got a pretty unique way that we're looking at it. We want you to be able to level up your operative, like your account basically, and also your masks. And so mask leveling is going to be the thing that has the functionality. And you can see we've got a rough diagram here on the right. This is all work in progress. This is very early, but essentially what we're looking at is storage capacity as being the concept. So your mask that you have, your mask will have storage on it, and in those storage slots, you're going to be able to install software upgrades. And so if you want to be able to use a higher tier weapon, for example, on your drone, then your drone will need your mask to have like a level 2 weapons upgrade, for example. So leveling up means that you'll get more capacity. More capacity means that you can get either more capabilities in your mask, or that you can upgrade the capabilities. And upgraded capabilities will just take more storage, so they'll take more slots. So that's the direction we're looking at taking the leveling, just in short. The next thing that we're going to deliver to you guys as part of the beta is the ability to take your crypto tokens, the DEFY token, out of the actual game itself and bring it out into the real world. So up until this point, we've allowed you to buy the DEFY token on exchanges, both central exchanges and DEXs, and then import that into the game. You've also been able to accrue the token in game, but next up is the ability to pull it out of the game. So this is one of the things that's just like a mandatory part of every crypto game. And it's just taken a while for us to get everything right so that we can build the tech and set this up so that it works the right way for the game. So one benefit that you have as an alpha player, if you've been playing through and accruing tokens and finishing missions, is that you're going to be able to pull your tokens out a lot sooner. And in the future, we're going to allow free-to-play players in as part of the public launch, but they're going to have quite a lot of gameplay that they need to go through before they'll be able to actually egress the tokens through the token Offramp. So yeah, that's another cool thing that you can look forward to coming soon. How is this going to work, I hear you ask? Well, we've got two different launch targets that we've got. The beta launch is the big chunky bit where we're building out all of the foundations of the gameplay. And that means the crafting capabilities, the new drone, map-based drone stuff, leveling in the token Offramp. And then past that, we've got the public launch where we're opening up in app stores. And that's going to include the configurator and marketplace. So all of this stuff is coming in the months ahead. There's heaps of stuff, because even though that's the stuff that I've highlighted, we're also working on all of this other stuff as well in the beta and public launch. And all of this stuff on the left-hand column is in various levels of engineering and design. So the inventory system is close to done. Map-based loot drops, that's designed. Additional weapons, a lot of that's designed. We haven't been designing this stuff yet. And you know, all of this stuff is now designed. We're basically at a point where leveling is in progress with Eng, and then the other stuff's coming in the weeks ahead. So I hope that that's helpful. I hope you found it interesting, and we're really keen on your feedback, because when I look at all the stuff that we've built, I kind of think to myself, well, holy crap. I mean, there are a lot of world firsts here. We're doing some really progressive stuff. And I'm really interested in knowing from you guys, what else is there out there? Like, which other projects have actually been building modular NFTs, like composable NFTs like the drones? As far as I know, I haven't seen that done anywhere else. The economic design with crafting and the that whole layout of being able to create parts and then assemble those parts into the functional drones. Would really love your input, actually. So please get back in touch with us and let us know your thoughts. But until then, thanks everyone. Bye bye.